In few hours, Jupiter is also getting ready to switch signs from a
Yes,
fiery Aries to Earth, Taurus.
and that is the big transit that we're going to see this year,
Yeah, it is.
the
Yeah,
biggest transit. Yes.
yeah.
Do you think that last year we had all the major planets transiting, but this year just the one? So
Yes,
all focus on that.
yeah. But interestingly, in May, almost all planets are switching nakshatras.
Correct.
So
Yes.
that's interesting. Like yesterday, we just did a emailer on that for Align where we talked about. I noticed that all of them are switching nakshatras. Rahu, Ketu, Saturn,
I did
Jupiter.
see that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. May is going to be interesting as well.
Yeah, it sure is because with Akshaya Tritiya coming up, I think it's going to be good. It's good.
Yes.
Anyway, Krodhi year, so
Mm.
a lot of anger, a lot of passion, a lot of heat. Yeah. So it's good that Jupiter comes into an earth sign rather than Aries, which is also adding to the fire.
Absolutely. I think though Jupiter's transit in Taurus, not a very friendly sign though, will lead to a bit more materialism. I think
Mhm.
Jupiter not so comfortable with that.
Yep.
But uh, planetary nakshatra transit wise, first Jupiter will be in Kritika,
Hmm.
friendly planet. So we'll have to see rest of the year. Such a
Yeah.
fast motion of Jupiter in all of these nakshatras. In fact, till November, it's going to do 27 degrees. So
Mhm.
fastest motion, I think.
Yep. Yep.
Gains are going to come. People are going to have to really hold on very quickly to
Yes.
think.
100%. Yeah, on that enemy aspect, I think, Jupiter in an enemy sign, especially when it's of Venus, you have to just control your arrogance of sometimes, like you cannot take knowledge for granted. Oh, I know so much. Always be willing and open to learn from every possible source. And if you can control the arrogance and the passion that Venus could bring in terms of, either in relationships or in sensual stuff and luxury, then, this Jupiter will definitely give good results. So it'll kind of test you first. So since Taurus is the second sign of the natural zodiac, it's going to test you, like it is going to see how you're going to spend because Jupiter does not want you to lose. So Jupiter will make sure that in its own way it teaches you the right lessons in terms of finance
Absolutely.
and security and sustenance and all the second house aspects.
And I mean, you can use a lot of those things more positively, like savings will increase for so many different rashis
Mm-hmm.
and investment opportunities. Now, Jupiter
Yep.
being Karak of children in
Mhm.
in a birth chart, why not just make very long-term investments for your children?
Yeah,
Those are
exactly,
things that
exactly.
one can do. And
Definitely.
um, controlling that materialism with a little bit more balance,
Yep.
opportunism, is
Mhm.
something that we'll see. But I think Taurus will put the focus more on uh, what I have and family and what's mine. So a balance is required there, I think, for everyone. Keep
Yep.
that in mind.
Yes. And Jupiter, is a natural, it's one of the most benefic planets. It's a
Oh,
planet that
yes.
represents Sattva Guna. It's a planet that represents the space element, which brings everybody together. So, second house being the family, like, a lot of families who have been having issues, who've been having some battles. It's a good transit for them to come together and
Absolutely.
connect again. So, because
Yes.
Jupiter is the connector, like, I always say, give this example that, flowers represent space element and so does Jupiter. And that's why, one of the best remedies for Jupiter is offering flowers to the divine. And also, like, that's why you see, if you go to a restaurant or a coffee shop in the table, they keep like a small flower vase.
Yeah,
And that is so that, the two people who are sitting on either side of the table connect well with each other so that,
absolutely.
then you can keep ordering more and the restaurant benefits as well.
No,
So,
just sending flowers to someone,
mhm.
that's something that immediately invokes that bond.
Yep.
And I also think that, when we talk of Jupiter, we're talking of Brihaspati, right?
Mm.
And Brihad is large and expansive, and uh, especially in family situations, being more broad-minded.
Yep.
Because I mean, Jupiter is a graha, has is I think 11 times the
Mhm.
size of Earth.
Mhm.
So in that sense, bringer of knowledge, giver of, I mean, it's like a white canvas,
Yeah.
so pure, so pious. So the more we keep that internal purity going, I
Mhm.
think, and not just prosperity or the thought of prosperity for ourselves, but everyone else,
Mhm.
will make this transit more auspicious for everyone.
Yep, definitely. I mean, also Shukra, talking about Venus, because Taurus is ruled by Venus.
Correct.
Shukra is the Sarva Shastra Pravaktaram, like he's
Aram,
the knower of all the Shastras and the one who can actually speak very eloquently about it.
absolutely.
So, and Jupiter coming in this, another great insight, is to start reading the scriptures. Like, if you
Absolutely.
haven't read the Bhagavad Gita, it's a time to pick up a copy and start reading. And even if you have read it, it's a good idea to, read it every day, at least like few chapters. Like
Yeah.
for example, like for Taurus moon signs, when Jupiter was in the 12th house, I
Mm.
always suggested that before they went to bed, they could say a small Jupiter mantra, or
Mm.
like I am a Taurus moon. So when Jupiter
Okay.
was in the 12th house, before I went to bed, I always chanted the Guru Puja, and I could see a very stark difference between the time I did it and the time I didn't do it. So I slept well. I woke up fresh. I woke up with so much clarity, like whatever issues and problems running in my mind, once I chant the Guru Puja and wake up in the morning, they were gone. I always found a solution. So, and I even suggested to many of my friends who have Taurus Lagna, Taurus moon sign, and they all benefited from it. So
Yeah.
definitely reading Shastras and mantra chanting
And
goes going
yes,
to play a big.
supporting your gurus and your teachers. Taurus, female sign in that sense. So I would say female scholars as well, giving
Mhm.
some support to them in some way.
Yeah,
But wearing yellow, we have to talk about turmeric,
yeah.
right?
That's
And the
true.
perfect remedy for Jupiter. So, what would you say are your favorite remedies using turmeric?
I mean, turmeric, known as the golden elixir, the West gave the
Absolutely.
name, I guess, but even gold is connected to Jupiter, so is turmeric. And for me, like turmeric, like for example, like for every, I was like thinking about like how you can use turmeric based on Jupiter's transit in various houses. Like for
Yeah.
example, if Jupiter is in Taurus, it's gonna be on your Lagna. Lagna is your head.
Head.
That's why before we
Absolutely.
chant any mantra, we always like keep our hands on top of the head and think
Yeah.
of the
And the word
rishi,
is
right? Like because the rishis are also in our staying here. And
correct.
there is a dictum in astrology that says that when Jupiter is in the Lagna, it has the power to destroy all the negativity in the birth chart. And I mean,
1.25 lakh doshas,
yes,
right?
yes. And
Absolutely.
that's why, like before we begin something, we always need to get blessings of Jupiter or the Guru, right? So, like, and in
And
this
even
day
when
and
we see a Muhurat, for instance, we would
exactly.
look to Jupiter in Lagna, and
Yeah,
that is great
yeah.
Muhurat to start, especially anything, even consultancy based or teaching
Mhm.
based, all of these activities. So, absolutely, yes.
100%, yeah. So, I mean, like, in Align 27, when we determine when is a golden moment, this is one of the biggest contributor as well. Like, having Jupiter in the Lagna, then,
Lagna.
that's definitely a golden moment. So, and also like in this day and age when we are also busy and not unable to find a good muhurta, or some people don't have time to look for a good muhurta, and things just happen so quickly that we don't have the time to, take a pause and do things at the right time. Then what I always do is like whenever something like that comes up, I just close my eyes and I just imagine my spiritual master's feet on my Lagna. That's like
Yes.
bringing Jupiter in my Lagna. So if people who don't have spiritual masters, they can just take some akshata and sprinkle it on their own top of the head like this. And because,
Absolutely.
like you've seen in weddings, we bless people with akshata that falls on the top of their head. That is like
So
a literal meaning to say that, let me give you the blessing of Jupiter on your lagna. So,
prosperity and abundance. Yes, because
exactly.
akshat is a mix of rice, which is
Yeah,
represented by the moon,
yeah,
and turmeric, of course, Jupiter. And when they both come together, it's something amazing, happy,
exactly.
prosperity, and all of that. So
Yeah.
absolutely. I mean,
Jupiter
you
moon
see
is
a lot of people
the,
actually trying to remove it,
yeah,
but we should tell everyone that do keep it on.
yeah,
And that's something,
do
even
keep
when you
it.
do
Yes.
your puja in the morning, you can sprinkle a little
Akshat,
bit of
yes.
akshat on your head. Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, and Jupiter moon is the famous Gajakeshari yoga,
Yes, it
and it also like moon exalts Jupiter, and
is.
Rice is connected to Taurus, so even more auspicious to, like
Absolutely.
to use Akshat, like because these are not just to be used in weddings or in homas. You can use them on a daily basis. All you need to do is like mix some water and turmeric, make a paste, put some, like
Yes,
unbroken rice in it,
right.
and then keep it aside until it becomes dry, and then every day just sprinkle few. And especially if
Y-
you're going for important meetings, taking a job interview, this is going to be very powerful remedy for them. And the second
Yeah.
house, sorry,
Even
go
with rice, you can probably, make this sweet rice. I mean, Jupiter loves meetha. He loves sweet, right? So put a little bit of sugar and some turmeric, and that you have the yellow rice. That's something
ahead.
you can even offer the divine every day. I mean,
Yeah,
as a
100%.
Naivedyam,
Yeah,
definitely.
definitely 100%. And then you can also make like a face pack with turmeric. I've seen so many brands also now starting to make like turmeric face pack. And during the, lockdown, I used to suggest this to a lot of people because people are already feeling so anxious and
Disconnected.
exactly. So it helps a lot. Like when if you don't find a good brand, you can just like make it at home. Just mix some like in the olden days, people always used to put turmeric in their faces.
Yeah,
So
I mean, the best thing is that you can just buy those haldi knots, right?
yep, yep.
Use, and you can just grind them and make a paste. In fact, just using haldi even in your bathing water,
Yeah,
that's something that you can
yeah,
do if on a Thursday,
exactly.
if
And
not every day.
yeah,
So
at least on a
all of
Thursday is must, if not every
yeah,
day for sure. Monday and Thursday. And
absolutely.
also because second house is connected to the face, and face
Yes,
is again Taurus. So, like these two remedies with Jupiter, I mean with turmeric is very powerful. And for people with Pisces moon, they have Jupiter coming in the third house. So on a
correct.
Thursday, they can just take a plate with turmeric and just write
Yeah,
Om in it, and then, chant some mantras, then mix the turmeric in water and just sprinkle it in their houses. Like,
house.
yeah, so that is also like you need to do something with your hands and turmeric. Like, like during Ganesh Chaturthi, we always make golden,
Haridra Ganapati.
exactly, like, yeah, turmeric Ganesha. So even you can make that on a
Because
Monday.
I mean, he is the Vidhata, we would say, of turmeric, because that's where he came from Parvati.
Exactly.
But speaking of, I mean, even Pisces, as you
Mhm.
mentioned, sign of the fish, right?
Yep.
So feeding fish. So
Yeah.
you can take some atta, as we say,
Hmm.
wheat, and the dough,
Yeah.
and put a little bit of haldi in that,
Hmm.
and turmeric in that, and then just feed it to fish, because it is a sign of fish. That's
Yep.
something that I mean, I think Pisces will have they might see a few, here and there, failure in their efforts.
Hmm.
So just to keep those expectations lower. Uh,
Hmm.
of course, for signs like Aries and Leo, even Scorpio, Sagittarius, they'll be quite optimistic, I think, but
Hmm.
there will be not the kind of conversion that they're expecting in their
Yeah.
efforts. So these are few things that they can do, of course,
Exactly,
regular.
definitely. I mean, talk also about for Sagittarius people when Jupiter is in the sixth house, you can
Yes,
make like a small miniature turmeric gada. And because,
wonderful. Yeah,
sixth house is also weapons. So,
weapons.
yeah, and one of the most powerful weapon for Jupiter actually is the pen.
Yeah,
So, You can even like
Which
do
jar?
Likita Japa. Yeah.
And what would you suggest? Om Gurave Namaha
Yeah, Om Gurave Nama is very simple to start with.
to
Like
start.
I think it's any mantra you choose, it's just about the faith that you have that this mantra is going to work for me. Otherwise, there's no point because
Yeah,
it's not the selection of the mantras that's important, but 99.9% is the faith that you have that yes, this is going to bring me some merit. And
yeah,
actually, Likita Japa, I've been practicing that for the past 6 years without fail. Every night I write a page of mantra. I write Rahu mantra because from my moon I have Rahu in my third house, and I do a Durga mantra and I write it in English because Rahu is a foreign planet.
yeah.
So it's been very helpful. Like you could see that that has tamed my Rahu. So
Hmm.
now the Rahu wants to do more good. And how do you know that your Rahu is getting stronger? Is like, okay, you don't want to pollute the environment. You want,
Yes.
like, if you see dirt somewhere, you want to pick it up. You like going out of the room and you want to switch off the electricity. Like, all these are very
But screen
positive.
down time.
Yeah,
Reduce your screen time.
exactly. Yeah. So
That is
these,
something for Rahul.
yeah. So, even for people who have Rahu and Taurus, they can start writing some mantras. This is going to be a very
Yeah.
powerful time for that.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, even when we talk of, say, the Vaman avatar, which is
Hmm.
connected to Brihaspati expansion and
Hmm.
how the story goes. But Sri Krishna says that amongst the trees, I am the people. So
Yeah,
even
people.
offering sweet water
Hmm.
to the people tree, I mean, it's a tree that gives oxygen all the time. Our
Yep.
gurus put around that tree.
Hmm.
And Jupiter is all about lineage and generations and
Yeah.
family and
Hmm.
vision. So just spending some time near a people tree
Yeah,
brings a lot of positivity. So that's something
100%.
that can be done as well.
Yeah. And if you don't have access to people trees, then just go find the northeast corner of any house in your house, in any room, find the northeast corner and just sit there and, like listen to like Guru Padaka Stotram or, Dakshinamurti
Dakshinamurti,
Stotram. Yeah.
Stotram, Dattatreya.
Or you
Yeah.
can just like chant the Bija mantra hum. Like just few times you just say like it creates such a very solid vibration that will change
Absolutely.
everything. Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, Northeast is the Ishan cone, where
exactly. It's
prosperity,
connected to
abundance,
Jupiter.
and the direction of Jupiter. So
Yeah,
that's something everyone can do. Find that on their compass
yeah,
and yeah,
exactly.
definitely,
Yeah.
definitely.
And even
But
bowing down in the northeast direction, like, that,
mm,
like, say, for example, so many things are troubling you and, you just want a release, you just want to let go. Then, just find the northeast corner and just bow down and surrender. Like, that also is a big, it creates a big, huge change.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think just in general, because it's Jupiter, following rules and regulations
Mm-hmm.
and your dharma and doing the right thing, because Jupiter is the best advisor,
Yep.
right? So giving right advice, not
Mm-hmm.
being biased in that,
Yeah.
being
100%.
broad-minded. These
Yeah.
are things in general behavior in
Yeah.
every day that we can definitely do.
The like our Gurudev Sri Sri Ravi Shankar, he always says that the microcosm and the macrocosm is always connected, and he gives us a lot of example. And when you learn astrology, when you start studying astrology, then you feel like, oh my God, like that statement finally comes to life. Like everything is connected to everything else. Like even sometimes, we as astrologers, we're like continuously researching, we're continuously learning more from how, like observing what is happening
Yeah.
around us. And I've always seen that a person who has kindness, who's very
Yes.
merciful and forgiving, I'll be like,
Mm.
oh, I always think that, oh, this person must have a very strong Jupiter, right?
Yeah.
So I've seen many people's chart where, the mark of a very strong Jupiter is kindness, mercy, and being very forgiving.
Generosity.
Yeah,
Generosity.
generosity, exactly, definitely.
Generosity in not just giving, but even in your judgment.
Yep,
Uh,
definitely.
very
So
important
this
in their.
can be reverse engineered as well. So even if you don't have a strong Jupiter, cultivating these habits is not just reserved for people with strong Jupiter. Probably it
Of
comes a
course.
little natural to them, but we can all put some effort in being more kind, and that
Yeah,
will definitely improve your Jupiter.
and I mean, Jupiter, because it's strongest in the sign of Cancer. And Cancer is,
Hmm.
I mean, when you look into water, it's a water sign, right? And when you
Hmm.
look into water, you see your own reflection. And
Yep.
when you see your own reflection, it's a sign of, say, introspection.
Hmm.
And even, I mean, once you introspect on your own action, you will cultivate more empathy. So I think being empathetic, because
Hmm.
that's what our gurus are, right? When we
Yep.
take our first world problems to them, they're so kind and so compassionate.
Yeah.
So I think that's a very big, very, very big part of
Mm.
that.
Uh,
Banana trees.
yeah.
I think we can do banana trees also in this
Yeah.
transit for Jupiter. Like Sagittarius people,
Hmm.
moons can plant banana trees. In fact,
And
everyone.
mangoes as well, because this is mango
Mango.
season in India. Mango is connected to Taurus actually. So, like my Jyotish guru is Pandit Sanjay Rath, and it's from him I've learned a lot of things. And he always like has taught us that mango is connected to Taurus. And
Okay.
like Jupiter is also connected to all the fruit bearing trees. So Jupiter and Taurus is a good time for you to enjoy some mangoes and even like donate it, feed it to people, for whom mango is going to be a luxury, right? I mean, with the cost so high, even in
Akshay Tritiya coming up. That's the day that you can go out there, share in your abundance.
Mhm.
And you were talking about the macrocosm and how everything really is connected. The last padas of all of Jupiter's nakshatras are
Mhm.
in Pushkar Navamsh, right?
Mhm.
And Pushkar is connected to Brahma.
Mhm.
Now, that's the thing about Jupiter, that even when things are going wrong,
Mhm.
it has that power, that divine grace. That's what it gives, luck and protection. So
Yep.
somewhere along the way, just making that little bit of effort to be more conscious of Jupiter-related things will help smoothen out a lot of things, I think,
Mhm.
for people. Because that's his
Definitely.
nature. I mean, we can talk about for hours about the
Yeah.
grace of Jupiter.
Yeah. And
Just talking about it brings so much joy.
Yes, yes. And Jupiter being the divine in every sign, I think with Taurus, Jupiter was in Aries, and suddenly Rameshwaram and the Ram avatar was so prominent last year with the Ayodhya opening up. So now in Taurus, it's all about the Somnath Jyotirling. I feel
Yeah,
like, a lot of people can go there, worship the Somnath Jyotirling because that is connected to the
connected to
sign of
Taurus.
Taurus.
Yes.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
if you're unable to go, just like there's some very powerful mantras that I obviously learned from Pandit Sanjay Rath. Like he says, like Om Namah Shivaya, Namo Somanathaya. Like this is something that could. He taught us that when a planet is debilitated, just you can exalt them by chanting the Jyotirling mantra of the sign where they get exalted. So
Absolutely.
yeah, if you have a weak moon, then honoring Somnath Jyotirlinga is one of the best remedies for that.
Absolutely. I'm also learning from Pandit Sanjay Rathji.
Nice.
Just started. And
Awesome.
my guru, I must speak of him as well, Shri S. Ganesh.
Oh, nice.
Um, I've learned Jyotish from the very beginning.
Mhm.
So, I mean, it is the grace of the guru, I think, that brings us to this science.
100%.
Jyotish, I mean, the art of daily living, what can teach it better, I would
Yep.
say,
Yep.
right?
Yes. And also, I feel like Jupiter's retrograde. We have to talk a little bit about that.
Yes.
Yeah, so
Yes.
from
Hmm.
I think October to February, if I'm not wrong, don't remember the exact dates. But during that time is when you get a chance. Like things are like you mentioned, like until November, Jupiter is gonna go so fast, and when it retrogrades, it's a second opportunity for us to
Opportunity.
take a pause and just reevaluate what had happened in those few
Yeah.
months from April
Yes.
to October.
Yes.
Yeah, from May to October, I'm sorry.
But I mean, kids, children,
Mm-hmm.
more focus on it. Jupiter is Karak of children. So teaching children,
Mm-hmm.
it's something that we can all do. Take some time out,
Mm-hmm.
teach easy to do.
Yeah.
And that's something, even spending time
Mm-hmm.
with children is
Yeah.
such a wonderful way to gain the blessings of Jupiter. He
Yeah.
loves to teach. the best teacher,
100%. Yeah.
loves to advise. So yeah.
And if you have any planets in, say, Taurus, Scorpio, Virgo, or Capricorn, like Jupiter's aspect on those grahas is going to be a very life-changing thing, because, when Jupiter aspects a graha, it offers strength to the graha and removes all the weaknesses associated with that graha. So this
More
is,
than where it's placed.
yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
Absolutely.
So this is going to be a very powerful transit for people who have planets in these signs, where Jupiter is going to have an aspect.
Aspect. I
Yeah.
mean, the fifth aspect of Jupiter is so it's so protective. I would say,
Mhm.
like, like a mother protects
Yeah,
their children. And the ninth aspect is the Guru's grace again, someone behind you saying, "Go ahead, I'm there." So
exactly.
that is the grace of Jupiter, really. Yes,
Yeah.
its aspects are so much more powerful. Yes.
So all we need to do is like just overcome the arrogance of knowledge and
Yeah.
intelligence in relationships or luxury. Then, this Jupiter for sure is going to give you fame, wealth, sustenance, prosperity, and all the other good things.
And that, but it's also giving the solution in so many ways because it
Hmm.
is a spiritual planet.
Yep.
It in a very motherly way, I would say, it draws you to it. And
Exactly.
the key here really is to just balance that out
Hmm.
and stay anchored. As
Yes.
long as you stay anchored, I think in your spiritual practices. I mean, you
Hmm.
talked about something that you do every day, and that's the thing, doing it at the same time every day, because
Hmm.
that's when you will create a frequency with the divine. You
Yep.
both come together and you
Hmm.
have that moment together. And that's really all we have to do, because
Hmm.
we want protection, which Jupiter gives. We want that luck. We want opportunity.
Yeah.
And his grace
But
can do that all.
I mean, like, recently I was talking about this on a Saturday to few people. Like Jupiter, like we get so many thoughts, right? Imagine if you're acting on all of those thoughts. Life is going to be such a big mess, a big chaos. Jupiter is actually that intelligence that filters and cleanses those thoughts. And then it,
Yes.
it gives us that intelligence, that knowledge, that wisdom to pick the right thought and act on them. Like
As
usually,
Guruji said,
exactly.
Guruji
Usually,
says, right?
yep.
Be
Usually,
Shakti.
yes. When things don't go wrong, when things go wrong, if you notice, it's only because of the impulse of acting in some wrong thought. That is
Mm.
why, things have gone wrong. So Jupiter is that intelligence. So that shows like how important Jupiter is in our birth chart, right? Like, and that's why like Gayatri mantra is so powerful, because you are praying for good thoughts to come. So you're kind of like taking care of it from the roots. And but obviously like, a lot of people are not initiated into Gayatri mantra, and even if people are initiated, I
But
pity them. Like,
that's the thing.
some people who are initiated and not chanting it, because like in 2014, the Art of Living Foundation offered the Upanayanam course in the US for the first time in North Carolina, in the Boone Ashram. And I took it,
Mhm.
and like ever since, like, there's not a single day has passed, except one day when I was in my surgery, that I've not chanted the Gayatri mantra. Because
Mm.
literally, there's no way to explain it. Like, the nature just opens all of its secrets to you when you learn this. So I always
Yes.
tell people, like, if you're going through a really hard time, say, like, after 16 years of Jupiter and you suddenly went into Saturn Dasha, and then at the same
Right.
time you are going through like a Saturn return or a Sade Sati, whatever that is, any negative transit or Dasha, just go and, get the Upanayanam done. It's a complete new birth for you.
But
It,
a lot of people chant the Gayatri mantra without being initiated, and that's something that, as we know, shouldn't be done. But
Mhm.
again, not enough knowledge is there that
Yeah.
this is something. But as
I mean,
Guruji,
initially women were not allowed to chant it, but our
yeah,
Gurudev says that it's never not written in any of the scriptures that this is not to be given to women. So he was very kind, like being the epitome of Jupiter for me in my life. Like, he was very kind to open this up for everybody. So in Art of Living, like, we have this course. it, and they offer it in our Bangalore ashram as well. So a lot of people I know have taken the course and benefited a lot.
Mm,
Yeah,
absolutely.
Gayatri Mantra is very special. And even while chanting the Gayatri Mantra, when you like keep your hand on top of your head and you say, you invoke Vishwamitra, who's given the mantra, and you say Vishwamitra Rishihi, just taking a pause there and literally like having a gratitude towards him, that will enable you to keep chanting it. Because this is not like a weight loss challenge or okay, I'm gonna do this challenge that I want to chant the
Right.
mantra. Like it doesn't
Yeah,
happen. You need the grace of the
yeah,
rishi to even
yeah.
chant it. So,
Absolutely. But in very simple terms, I mean, Jupiter in everyday life would be, like you said, flowers and
mhm.
sweet things. I
Yeah.
mean, we have any celebration, we always have something sweet and we'll
Mhm.
always have flowers, right?
And
So these are things that one can share with
yeah,
others, right? Sweet confectionery in particular,
exactly.
Jupiter loves that. So donation of that. And
Laddus, yellow
birthdays of
laddus.
yellow
Yeah.
laddus.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. I love them.
I love
I
them
went to
too.
the
Yeah.
temple in the morning today, and as soon as I walked in, the Panditji gave me one big yellow laddu, and so you have to have the whole thing, not half. So
Yeah.
yes, I was like, we have the transit coming tomorrow, so I'm not going to say no.
Yeah. And also for all the seekers, Guru Purnima is coming up in July. With Guru in Taurus, that's also like, it's a great time for you to get soaked in that Guru Tattva. And Jupiter's energy on that day is particularly really high. So anybody
Yeah.
with a weak Jupiter, they could do some rituals on Guru Purnima,
Absolutely.
Vyasa
And
Purnima.
even during the time of the transit, just sitting in meditation and
Mhm.
thinking, because I mean, when a planet is changing signs, it's like you're changing a home, right?
Yeah,
And there's comfort at that time, or maybe just some confusion. So just sitting in dhyan for
yeah.
that graha at that
Especially
time.
in Kali Yuga, like where we all have to balance a bit of material and spiritual, and the signs are the ones who are the actual givers, right? All the resources that we have comes through the signs. So when
Rashi.
Jupiter changes signs, then, it's a very important transit for the next whole year.
Absolutely. I mean, it's going to set the trend for so many different people. I
Yeah.
mean, even if we say, like, I would advise Gemini moon sign, for instance, even
Mhm.
Libra moon sign, they'll have to put in a bit more effort. I think with Libra, health, you know,
Mhm.
given the lordship of Jupiter there. So, even the worship of Vishnu,
Mhm.
Bhagwan Vishnu,
Yeah.
just listening to or chanting the Narayan Kavach
Yeah.
is something that will bring a lot of protection.
Yeah.
I think that's something that they can do.
Mhm.
Um, Even something so simple like for Jupiter's transit in Taurus, if your Taurus moon sign, donate perfumes, you
Mhm.
know. Shukra does like
Yeah.
that. So, and we
Definitely.
have Jupiter and Venus being combust
Yeah.
in some part of that. So,
100%. I think for Libra, ascendants and moon, like since Jupiter rules the third and sixth house,
yes, yes.
it's a sixth lord going to eighth house. It's also Viparit Raja Yoga. So, for them, it's like also an opportunity to cleanse their prarabdha karma. So, when
Okay.
something is not working out, it's for a long
Absolutely.
time, Jupiter is not going to like, unlike Saturn, who's going to just snatch it away from you because it's not meant for you. Jupiter is going to
Yeah.
give you all the wisdom for you to make the decision to finally let go of it. So the more
Mm.
you're open to it, the more easy it becomes for Jupiter, because first he needs to take off the negative things, then he can start giving. But if you're going to offer resistance to everything, then Jupiter's benefic energy is just going to be wasted on first making you understand. Like actually that is one of the drawbacks of Jupiter. Like for example, if a kid is going near a flame and touching the flame, Saturn, the way Saturn would react is like, just, hey, what are you doing? Like, it's going to
Yeah.
burn, and just uh, shake the kid up a little bit so that kid will
Yes,
never
exactly. Never
go
do
near
it
a flame.
again.
But Jupiter
Yeah.
is like trying to explain that, hey, it's going to hurt you, hey, this,
Burn
that.
you.
It's like
Yes.
wasting too
Yes,
much time trying to explain.
right. That's so true.
Yeah,
So compassionate, right?
yeah, so compassionate.
Uh, and it's amazing when we're at the receiving end of it most of the time. But
Yeah,
that's why then Saturn is the one to teach us the tough lessons. I
yeah,
think we do live in that with that perspective. Yeah, but yes, with Libra, that health concern, that's something that they should watch out for, definitely. And even in females, maybe
mhm,
hormonal issues and
yeah.
things like that.
But I mean,
So
also like a lot depends on the dasha that you're running, the
yes,
antardasha that you're
always.
running as
And your
well.
individual chart, of
Yeah,
course.
on you and the individual, because the yogas in the individual chart is only going to come true. There's nothing new there. Obviously,
Yes.
that during the transit, that opportunity is there for you to take full advantage of it,
Yes,
which you
yes.
can.
Like
Yeah.
when Jupiter will go to Rohini
Hmm.
nakshatra,
Hmm.
and that Gaj Kesari yoga will get activated.
Yeah.
And something that you can do is have haldi milk. That's
Hmm.
milk is also moon, and that if you are running these periods in your life, then that is something that will activate this yoga.
Yeah, definitely. That's a great remedy.
Yeah,
Haldi milk at night.
haldi
I
milk.
think like
Yeah.
I'm also, Jupiter and Taurus. Taurus is the natural sustenance, like, and that's why,
Absolutely.
milk is connected to Taurus because milk is what nourishes the baby first. That's the
Yes.
first source of sustenance for all of us as human beings. So, like even going back to the roots in terms of food, like, stop eating junk food, oily food, and because oil is Saturn, and like
Yes.
and stale food, like have fresh food, fresh fruits, like I
Sattvic food.
sattvic food, exactly.
Sattvic.
Yeah,
Because it is a Sattvic. It is a
yeah,
Sattvic planet.
yeah.
Taurus also connected, could we say, um to cows
Hmm.
and service to
Yes,
cows and
yeah.
other animals, like even feeding pigeons, for instance, because pigeons
Hmm.
are like connected to Jupiter. But I think just being there for all of nature is something that Jupiter
Yeah.
um, uh, also talks about, because Jupiter protects those who
Mhm.
protect nature as well.
Yes.
So very simple thing,
And
one can
also
do.
Taurus is connected to the bull, reminded me that it's actually
Absolutely.
Shiva's Vahana. Like Shiva is in
Vahana,
Aquarius and fourth from Aquarius is Taurus, which is Rishabha. So, for Shiva, it's always Rishabha Vahana. So that's,
Rishabh. Vahana.
yeah. So
So it
worship
could
of
be
Nandi is also
Gemini.
very good.
Yeah, so I think Gemini, Virgo,
Hmm.
they can feed cows, they can give
Yeah.
green grass.
Yeah.
That's something that will help. And
Virgo,
I think,
especially, like they need to be more with people who know more than them, and they need to be open to and willing to learn from people. Like they need to surround themselves with people who know more, because this is a time for them to really gain a lot of knowledge. And it's very important the company that you keep, because that's the kind of
always,
knowledge
yes,
that you're going to get. Because for Virgo, actually, it's a breath of fresh air. They're coming out from Jupiter in eighth house into the ninth
yes,
house. Yeah.
yes, yes, absolutely.
Uh,
So yeah, for Virgo, though their Murti Nirnay, I think this year is more positive
mhm.
than it was last year. I think it's coming to silver.
Nice.
So I think the trend this year for them is going to be a lot better.
Mhm.
But yeah, they're going to have some foreign travels, definitely a lot of foreign associations.
Yes.
It's
A
going
lot
to
of,
be the
I
natural.
know a lot of Virgo moon signs who are like moving countries for jobs at this
Yeah.
time. So that's good.
I think we can generally say all things yellow,
Hmm.
sharing in those things,
Yes.
even donation of yellow clothes
Hmm.
to priests, to our gurus, donating in their institutions,
Yep.
uh, spiritual institutions are all things that we can do.
Yep.
Even students, little boys who are studying Vedas,
Hmm.
helping them and get an
Ah,
education.
yeah. In the Gurukuls.
Brahmacharis.
Yeah.
Right.
Brahmachari.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
there are a
also
lot of ways
color
to
is
help.
very, I feel like there's so much connection between color and Mahadasha and Antardasha. Like you have a lot of affinity towards the color of your Mahadasha and Antardasha planet.
Yes.
Yeah. So
Wearing,
that's
and wearing
another.
more yellow in any case is
Yeah.
good.
And even
Color
gold.
and gold. I don't
Yeah.
know who's going to wear gold though, Archana.
But
I
I
mean,
mean,
people
gold is
die
actually
for that.
very protective. I don't know,
Yes.
understand why, they've turned now gold into like rose gold, some crap gold. I don't know why they do that, but gold is like has a very special connection with that color itself. And one thing I would advise is don't wear gold below your knees, because
Abs-
knees is Capricorn where Jupiter gets debilitated. So anything below your knees, you don't wear gold. You wear it
Yes.
like in your neck or in your hands. That,
And wear gold and
yeah,
generally wear more gold.
yeah,
That's something one should do because
yeah.
Jupiter represents gold. Should
I
people be
think
buying?
now gold will become more fashionable with Jupiter and Taurus.
Just as well, just
Yes,
as well.
just as
That
well.
that that we're happy with.
Yeah, we're gonna go back to our roots. And also, in general, for everybody, this is going to make us focus on our financial security. So
Yes,
this is a very good opportunity. This whole year is an amazing opportunity for us to finally have that security that we've been yearning for and just do
yes.
the right things and not, like waste time with other things that are not going to help you with your evolution. Like
Yeah,
basically,
because
in general, astrology wise, one of the remedies is to manage your time. Like if you
yes,
say you're going to be here at this time, you be here at that time, that's going to improve your Mars. And
yes,
Mars is the natural Lagna Lord and
of
natural
the
eighth Lord, which when it's strong, then your life will be more smooth. Otherwise, there's too much turbulence,
yes,
right? And also
absolutely.
Kala Bhairav, like
Yes.
he's the head of
I
time.
would suggest that for Scorpio people because I mean, just you know it helps work with your emotions, the
Mhm.
negativity, and it
Yeah.
helps remove that. So definitely,
Mhm.
yes, Kartik, visiting a
Yeah.
temple of Kartik, yes. But
Yeah.
for Capricorn moon sign, I mean, when you're talking of savings and you're talking about financial security,
Mhm.
I would say that for them it's a great time to think about their kids' future and make those investments, especially because Jupiter is going to be transiting in their fifth house.
Mhm.
That's something that they should probably do. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think in general, everyone's going to be thinking a lot more about
Yeah.
family and investment and savings. Leo, though, might be spending too much and
Yeah.
being a little extravagant.
Leo
So
and
yes.
Gemini are the signs that are going to spend. But when you say spending too much, I always take it in a positive way because you can only spend what you have, right? So,
Yeah, but
especially with
also
Jupiter,
something
like
there
Gemini, they're going to have more, so they will spend more. Jupiter will make them spend in the right things, on the right things.
and what makes them happy. With Gemini,
Yeah,
it's going to be right. They're going to spend on things that make them very happy.
yeah,
So yes, for their sukh suvidha in
yeah,
that sense. Fourth
exactly.
house.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
absolutely. So of course, for me, I mean, I always feel that Shiv Parivar Puja is
Hmm.
something that is also uh, just a lovely way to bring more auspiciousness of Jupiter because he's also all about the family. And when
Hmm.
like even when we send a wedding invitation, it's always this and this with family. So when you
Yeah,
pray to the entire family, Shiv Parivar,
yeah,
that's also a great way to bring that auspiciousness of Jupiter,
yeah.
I think.
Always suggest people having the Shiv Parivar in their bedrooms. Like I have it right there. It's actually a
Yes,
Shiv Parivar there. Yeah, it's a calendar from 2021, but because of the picture, I didn't want to remove it.
that's lovely.
Nice.
But I will say, female sign again, avoid more arguments with ladies. I would say that
Yeah,
definitely, right?
100%.
Yeah, of those
I think
things
it's
too.
more, Taurus is a sign that can induce a lot of jealousy.
Mm,
So that's,
that's such a good
the one
point.
of the best remedies for jealousy is to praise people. Like when you
Mm,
praise people, you get on their good karma.
yes.
So, like if you
If it
feel
is
like,
true.
oh, this person is jealous, just go and like praise them, and then their
Wonderful.
jealousy will not touch you.
And we all feel that from time to time. And
Yeah,
that's something that, we've got to introspect
yeah,
and really get out of our system. So that's a wonderful, wonderful
yeah,
tip, actually,
yeah.
to
And
praise them
also,
because
like
we
you
find
just,
it difficult.
sorry,
Yeah. They would
what?
find it difficult. So
Exactly.
that's
Yeah.
why. Yeah.
And grace, like, our Gurudev always says that, anugraha, which is grace, and he said nothing in life is possible without some anugraha. So,
Yeah.
how do you define grace is when you receive a lot without making that much effort, then that is said to be grace. That means that you're blessed. Like, how many times we all have felt that, oh, like I just feel so blessed. I just feel so fortunate. I don't know how it happened. That is all grace. So, for that, you just need to do what you're doing and, be open, and then the grace will finally dawn.
The abundance will always find you, because
Yep.
charity is such an important thing. And, we see so many blockages in people's lives.
Mhm.
And a very simple thing is, and in so many texts, there's
Mhm.
talk of donating X amount of your earnings, say
Mhm.
10%, at least, in the Sikh community, they'll say, right?
Yeah.
Uh, and that opens up so many blockages, because
Yep.
it's important to share
Mhm.
in your abundance. And
Exactly.
Jupiter is such a generous planet.
Mhm.
So that's something that is simple to do. I mean, you
Yep.
just got to do the maths, right? And
Definitely. And
someone that is
Annadanam, like you can do,
Annada.
like donating food on
Yes.
Fridays or
It's
on
a
Monday or
Mahadana at the end of the
Thursday.
day.
Yeah. And if you're not
Mahadana.
able to do that, you can just contribute to temples that are doing it, or, Gurudwaras
Yes.
that are doing it on a daily basis, or ashrams where, food is being served to
Yes.
people. But
And
I
now
always
there's
feel
just so
like,
much,
doing it with your own hands more than money,
always
like
the best.
buying food and giving to somebody, that's a very special feeling.
But
It's more.
I mean, it doesn't have to be so much quantity. I mean, you can always make just a little bit. It's
Yeah.
not so much about the quantity and how much you're giving, but
Hmm.
we're living in many ways simpler times in certain things.
Yeah.
So there's so much availability of someone who can help you cook that meal
Hmm.
and distribute it. I
Yeah.
think distribution is also a very important part, doing
Hmm.
it with your hands.
Hmm.
And those are things I think that sometimes we miss. But
Yeah.
definitely being as involved in giving back
Yeah.
physically, I think, is an important thing as well.
Yeah.
What
And I
about
mean,
weight?
sorry?
Do you think the weight is going to go up
I
if
think so,
some
definitely.
people?
Weight is going to go up. But I
I can
mean,
already feel my
like,
sweet tooth getting a lot worse.
yeah. And even like, yeah, like Jupiter expands your second house and you're going to feel more hungry, which is,
Yeah. I'm hoping that I might learn how to cook a little bit.
yeah.
That's some, something, because second house is all about cooking and, cuisine. So,
Yeah.
yes, I
Yeah,
hope.
see, Jupiter and Kritika Nakshatra would have seen a lot of sudden cooks, because
Yeah.
Kritika Nakshatra is actually connected to cooking
Higher.
and fire. So, I mean, I don't cook usually, but during this transit, I was like making a lot of saute vegetables. And, in my friends get together, they were all like shocked and surprised, like, oh, Archie, are you cooking? Like, and they really enjoyed it as well. And I myself was like, let me see what has happened here. Then I was like, oh, okay, Jupiter is in Kritika. That's probably why. And actually, now that it's almost the end of Kritika, probably in one pada, it was very active. Now, again, I lost the interest to do so.
Probably it'll come back in Rohini.
Yeah.
You never know. It
Yeah.
might just come back. It might just come back. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's, I think, a lot for everyone to do. Just so much. But
Yeah.
very simply, sharing in your abundance. It's the graha of abundance.
Hmm.
And sharing in that is a simple thing to do. Just got to have the heart, a big
Yeah.
heart. Jupiter, we say, is like a jolly old uncle who's always optimistic and positive. So, taking everyone in your wing
Yeah.
and bringing everyone together all the time. So, I think just spending more time with family,
Yeah.
right?
I think
And
everybody should learn some Jyotish, because how many ever astrologers you visit to consult, you consult to read your chart, there's nobody who knows you better
yes,
than your own self. And when
I
you
agree.
have these little tips and tricks and of how it is, then you could connect it more, like, and especially if you're meditating and for a long time, and if you're a seeker, you could even look at your past lives. You could analyze what could have happened. Like, for example, like in Art of Living, we have a course called the Eternity Process, where, an instructor is there and they can lead us to looking at our past lives. And
Wonderful.
I was able to connect that with my D60 chart. I could see all
Ah,
my past lives in the chart, and this is not something that an astrologer could have done. Because I've done this process, I was able to like connect
connect the two. But that's what Jyotish is, right? The science of light, and it
Yep.
throws light on every aspect of creation. You just understand things so much better, and you
Yeah.
just everything suddenly starts to make so much sense. There's so much more clarity,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what it really is. I mean, it's just basically saying that um, you are responsible for where you are, and only you can
Mm.
fix things in your life. You know, fixing is what we're talking about. But I think it just helps us use our free will
Yeah.
with so much more awareness. And if
Mm-hmm.
we start to do that, then we can live a far more happy and harmonious life.
Definitely, definitely.
That's the real goal at the end of the day. I mean, we're all
Yeah.
here to be happy. That's all we
Happy.
want.
Yeah.
Content.
Mhm.
Jupiter, the planet
Yeah.
of contentment and
I mean, yeah,
satisfaction.
that's what I was like yesterday discussing this with my mom. Like, I was like, how has our life become? We just say good morning. There's a
Yeah.
very beautiful word in Sanskrit, suprabhatam. It's not just wishing good morning, but it's also like a blessing that your morning will definitely be good. Your day is definitely going to be good. We just now pick up the phone and say, hello, hi, how are you? I'm fine.
Sometimes not even that.
Exactly. And then, it's like even the wishes are like, hey, happy birthday, have a nice day. Like, we should learn to wish in Sanskrit because
Yeah,
that's so powerful. And, that is a language that's been here for so many thousands of years.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Every
And
single
I mean, it's
alphabet in
our
Sanskrit
roots.
is a mantra in itself.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
At least I was like, okay, I'm going to start now. Like, anybody says good morning, I'll just say Suprabhatam.
Suprabhatam. I think I will start that too.
Yeah.
Archana, we will both do that
Yeah,
and
exactly.
compare notes on how it's received.
Yeah, in
But
Art of Living, we never say bye or good morning. We always say Jai Gurudev. The divine in me is honoring the divine in you. That's what it means. And it's a beautiful thing. So we don't pick up the phone and we say like, okay, bye, see you later. It's like, oh, Jai Gurudev. It's very
yeah,
nice. A
yes, it is. It is. I
lot
mean,
of people
I
say
think
Jai Shri
Jupiter,
Krishna, Jai Shri Ram. Yeah,
Jai Shri Ram, Ram Ram,
Ram Ram, Jai Mata
uh,
Di.
or Sat Sri Akal.
Yeah, Sat Sri Akal. So nice. Like,
I mean, and speaking of Jupiter, like our gurus like Guru Nanak,
mhm.
um, he- um, offering prayers there and all of his
Yeah,
teaching, living by those teachings.
def-
Sai Baba,
yeah.
right? Satish Sai Baba as well. These are all energies that we can connect with.
Connect with
To,
100%. Yeah.
and they, because they're all gurus, they're all our
Yep.
gurus, plus direction and that optimism. Because, every day when we step out of our homes and whatever it is that we're doing, we're inviting so much, there's so much negativity. You
Mhm.
can't help it, right? So it's so important to have these spiritual practices, which is Jupiter. It's like, when you're taking a flight and then, you go over the clouds to sunlight. That's what spiritual practices really do.
Yeah.
Uh, they elevate your soul.
Mhm.
They give you enthusiasm to meet, the day ahead.
Yeah.
So Jupiter, spiritual planet, I will keep you in the right side of life
Mhm.
and hope that you follow
Yeah.
what we say, Sanatan Dharma, or an eternal code of conduct,
Mhm.
and stick by that. It is the planet of righteousness. So
Yes.
the more side of the right that we stay on, do the
Mhm.
right thing,
Mhm.
dharma,
Yeah.
is the most beautiful way to gain his grace, I think.
Definitely. Definitely. I think we can wrap it up now because otherwise we
Yeah,
can go on for
yeah, we
another
can
hour for
definitely do
sure.
that. Yes,
I'll just
absolutely.